Hey guys, Blizzterior Designer here. Today I want to talk about housing and potential utility that we could have in our houses. First thing is, I think that having a basic profession table in our home would make a lot of sense. You know, just being able to craft like basic stuff, um, and not work orders, not having access to work orders. I don't think we should be able to do that. I think it should just be an anvil or a fire for cooking or just any of those. You know, I don't remember all of the working profession tables right now, but just kind of those basic ones that just allow you to be able to craft stuff so that we could make furniture or just make anything really in our home, right? I think that's kind of a fun idea. Next thing is, I think we should have an extra hearthstone for our homes. I don't think we should have to use our normal Hearthstone for that, or like have to just travel there from the city. I think it'd be nice to be able to have another Hearthstone item that we can use that lets us travel either to our home or lets us travel to our neighborhood, right? I feel like they will, so I'm not too worried about that idea, but I just wanted to put that out there. Another thing is, I think we should be able to display transmog, like armor and weapons, respectively. The only thing is, I kind of leaning towards not being able to change our transmog, you know? I think it would make more sense if maybe that's a neighborhood thing, or maybe we just don't. I'm not sure about that one yet. I have some ideas for that I'd like to talk about in the future, though. So stay tuned for that. The target dummy, right? The damage dummy. I think it'd be fun. It doesn't have to necessarily be working. I think it just makes sense that it would. But if that's too game breaking, or if there's an argument made that that could be tied to power, then that's fine. I just think it'd be fun to be able to place them just for the appearance of having it in your house. You know, like if you wanted to make a dojo or a training room, I like the idea of being able to have a dummy there. So, yeah, the last thing is, I think we should be able to repair in our home. It just makes sense to me that you'd be able to have like an anvil or something that you could use for repairing your armor and stuff. So that would be nice. Things that I think should be in our neighborhood and not necessarily in our home is a mailbox. I think it makes a lot of sense that we'd have a mailbox. They're everywhere in the game. And like honestly, just have one for the whole neighborhood, and I think that's plenty. I don't think we need one for every house. One thing I would like to have in the neighborhood as well is have a stable master. You know, having it just because they're like in this city, right? Like you see them all over, but being able to access that and be able to change pets on your hunter alts, or if you're playing hunter main, just would be really nice and just kind of a nifty thing to do. Yeah, another thing is I want to be able to have stable for my mounts. They're in one of the pictures that they have on their housing articles. They show like a griffin stabled like on the side of a home, and it's just kind of like a little stall, and I think that's perfect. Like if we could have that and then be able to choose what mount is like stabled there, I think that would be really cool, and just be able to like choose the mount and then be able to make more of them and have them like next to each other, so you could kind of make your own stable if you wanted. I think it makes a lot of sense to me. Another thing is having a barbershop in your neighborhood would be cool. Be able to make changes or whatever if you need to. And maybe you don't need that because maybe they'll be right next to the cities. But Another thing I think could be cool is to have like a profession center in our neighborhood, especially if we can't get profession tables in our home. Then having like a little workshop themed area in our neighborhood where we could go and craft some stuff. I think that could be really cool and just kind of a fun idea. So I'd like to see that. I think having transmog available in your neighborhood makes a lot of sense. I think I mentioned that before. But some things I don't think we should have in our neighborhood is I don't think we should have a bank or an auction house. I like this idea of not replacing the hub cities with our neighborhoods, you know? We don't want to take away from what's already there. And so I think having like a bank or an auction house would almost place a little bit too much emphasis on the neighborhood in those aspects, because it should be more of a social thing, right? I don't think there should be any like profession trainers or anything like that either. They definitely shouldn't have access to the vault or work orders, like I mentioned before. All of those things should be left to the cities so that people have reason to go to the city to take care of those things, see people. But then, in your neighborhoods, you could have like just those smaller things I mentioned before. But then also whatever new social things they come up with. I'm interested to see if they'll have any crazy new ideas or interesting playability in the neighborhood. I'm excited to see what kind of ideas they come up with. So, yeah. That's all for this video today. I just wanted to list some things, give my take on it. I agree with what they're saying. I don't think we should have player power or gear tied to our neighborhood or housing. But I do want to have some interactive stuff, and I do want to be able to do certain things in my house or neighborhood that to me makes a lot of sense. That that in real life, a lot of those things are tied to our homes or our neighborhoods, such as mail or just stuff like that. So yeah, this has been Blizzterior Designer. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.